I think the biotech industry is growing. The CDMOs are going to grow with it. And we have a lot of potential, lot of new technologies coming in. We definitely want highly talented people to come and stay in this field and be the next generation leaders that can essentially change the face of new drug development and new molecules being brought to the market. So I think the main message here is a highly optimistic picture. Despite whatever market downturn, etc., that has happened, technology has been moving very fast, and the new molecules coming in are very exciting, very targeted solutions that are coming in, and that diversified portfolio requires a lot of technology solutions and a lot of support from CDMO and pharma side. So I'd say everyone should be very excited for the future.
Welcome back to the Smart Biotech Scientist podcast. I'm David Brohlman, your host, and we are continuing our fascinating conversation with Sigma Mostafa, who is the CSO of KBI Biopharma. In this second half, we are shifting gears to explore the inner workings of a CDMO. Sigma will also share her expertise on building high-performance organizations and transforming company culture. Get ready for some game-changing insights on operational excellence in the biotech world. Are you juggling the complexities of CMC development while trying to enjoy the beauty of biotech? Have you ever wondered if there's a way to simplify bioprocessing? Welcome to the Smart Biotech Scientist podcast, where we're diving headfirst into the very challenges you face. We're breaking it down, demystifying the jargon, and giving you the keys to unlock your full potential. I'm your host, David Brohlman, and I get it. With 15 plus years in the biotech industry, I face the same challenges you do. There's a way to simplify and streamline so you can remove complexity, you can skip trials and errors, deliver without delay your groundbreaking therapy to clinics and market, and still enjoy every single step. Do you want to learn how industry experts and I did it? Grab a cup of coffee and your favorite notebook and pen. Now is the time to take your bioprocessing game to the next level. Let's smarten up biotech. Now let's change perspective. We have now covered the part of how do you choose a CDMO, what are the pitfalls, the advantages. Now let's look inside the CDMO, because I'm really curious, what are the specificities, the ins and outs of a CDMO? And let's start with this very challenging step called the tech transfer, because I have done several tech transfer. I know they can be a make or break moment. So how do you guarantee a seamless transfer from your client to your facility?
From client to facility, so it depends on the start of the program. Obviously, if we have an integrated program where it's our cell line, our process, there isn't much of a hurdle. On the other hand, if we are bringing in a process that has developed by the customer and then we are transferring in, let's say they developed in small scale, we are transferring it in and then we are going to manufacture. So from our PD lab, we'll transfer to our manufacturing facility. We have a very well-defined process. We typically would do transfer first in small scale, a bench scale, and then we'll do a pilot scale run. We do not do engineering runs nowadays. We directly go to GMP manufacturing. And if it's an early phase, there may be one GMP manufacturing run. And our success rate is 100%. I don't know of a single program where tech transfer is where we failed. And that is because we are technically very strong, but we also understand the fluid dynamics, the equipment differences, some of the things that can trip you up essentially in tech transfer. So let's say customer has developed the process in stainless steel and we have disposable platform, or we have Cytiva platform customer developed in Sartorius or Thermo Fisher bioreactors, etc. We have all those mapped out very well. So we know exactly what tip speed, what process condition, what gassing strategy, etc. we will use. Downstream's pretty simple usually in terms of tech transfer as well. I think the challenge is oftentimes how much detail customer has actually available around the process and how much of process development and understanding of the process had happened. So if we have detailed questions on process impact on product quality or just the ranges of process conditions, and if that information isn't available, tech transfer can become a little bit more challenging. And in those cases, we would suggest doing some kind of a small but some fractional factorial small scale study so we can quickly understand if there are any edge of failure that we are dealing with. There are multiple things that are happening in parallel in tech transfer, right? There is also the supply chain and bill of material and being able to have the right material, grade material, everything being ready. Because oftentimes we have very short window for tech transfer and customer wants to, within months, be able to be in GMP. A lot of things have to come together for the GMP run to be successful, but it has worked well for us. I think it comes down to understanding the equipment, understanding the capability of the equipment, and asking the right questions.
Speaking of time, time is money in drug development. Can you share some strategies you employ to accelerate timelines?
Absolutely. We currently offer from transfaction to GMP around 12 months, but we actually can go to tox production. So GMP enabling tox material production from transfaction in 5 months. It's very fast timeline. The reason we can do it is few things we can do in a very speedy manner. One is our cell line, as I mentioned earlier, has a very fast doubling time and very short clone selection time. We also are highly integrated in terms of each of departments. Cell line work starts, but upstream work can start with some pooled material and downstream can take that pooled material and do development. So overall, our fast map timeline is feasible because of a couple of things. We have good cell line technology, the analytics, being able to do high throughput and automated analytics early on, even when you are in well-played stage, and then not having to do multiple stages of scale up, having confidence that your bench scale will scale to, let's say, your 3 liter or your Amber 250 will scale to 200 liter and 200 liter will scale to your GMP 2000 really reduces timeline significantly. The other aspect I'll say is that this comfort level to go to tox material generation with pooled material, pool of top clones, or a true pool which is not even has gone through single cell cloning. And the risk appetite is different for different customers, but we certainly have seen all of these options being accepted in regulatory submissions.
Okay, that's good to know. Yes, definitely. A pool can do a lot of things just with the pool nowadays. Yeah. We live in an exciting time. There's a lot of new technology, a lot of movement, new modalities. A lot is going on in biotech. How is this changing your business, your CDMO business, and how are you able to harness, for instance, the power of data analytics or some other technologies? Can you share a bit what your thoughts are and what you're most excited about?
In terms of new technologies, I'll mention two things. One is definitely the more complex modalities, the conjugated product, something like antibody drug conjugates requiring not just the biologists, but the chemists coming together and being able to create successful drug and be able to purify it properly, be able to proper formulation. There's a lot that needs to happen there. Secondly, in terms of AI and machine learning and overall digital component is something we are heavily invested in. Everyone has to be invested in, right? What we have focused on in terms of use of AI is one, in terms of looking at protein sequence and being able to tell developability-wise what challenges might be there, and therefore reduce the number of studies we have to do by using AI and knowing which areas to focus on and if there's going to be specific challenges. We also use AI for formulation development. And again, some of it is to reduce the amount of screening studies that may be needed. We are very focused on data analytics in terms of huge volume of data we have from technical data where we are looking at molecule attribute, biophysical attribute, outputs from bioprocess studies, and being able to correlate those to be able to say this type of molecule, this type of attributes needs this kind of process. And again, the idea is to reduce the amount of studies being done, but also to increase the success rate. There is a lot more we are also doing in terms of use of AI for highly technical things, such as how to improve our cell line, essentially. We are going to offer next year targeted integration with safe harbor regions that we have identified through bioinformatics for our Chinese hamster ovary CHO cell line. And all of that is based on bioinformatics tools and use of machine learning and such. On top of that, what we are doing is we have created a platform. It's a smart customer interface, essentially. So it's for all the communication with customers, but all of our data from the labs directly get uploaded there and directly get plotted. So it's hands-free. Our scientists are not sitting around and generating PowerPoints anymore. And instead, they are communicating with customers in chats, in the same electronic platform, and solving problems faster. So it all comes together, essentially, in terms of the digital solutions. And then there is a big part of course, automation in the lab and high-throughput solutions, which we are heavily invested in robotics as well.
So how will the CDMO business look like in 5 or 10 years?
I think it will look very much like pharma companies in terms of the deep technologies available and more partnership and more risk sharing, more of a holistic solutions that comes from the CDMO, not just piecemeal solutions, including regulatory solutions. That is something we are starting to offer. And we think with the huge volume of programs that we push through in R&D and BLA, there's so much knowledge that we can bring to the table to help our customers through their regulatory journey as well. I think CDMOs would be true partners in the longer term. And even technology-wise, they are going to be on par with large pharma.
Before we are wrapping up, Sigma, I'd love to ask you a question about leadership, because you have been building high-performance organizations and transforming organizational culture. Can you give us just a few key success factors that we should apply in our organizations?
I think for leadership to be successful and then build, highly successful, high-performing teams, what's needed is that trust factor that you have their back. And I have a lot of leaders I hired directly from graduate school or fairly junior in their career, and they have grown in the organization. I've been in KBI 14 years. They have been there 12 years, 13 years. So it's a really nice story. But that sense of mentoring and being able to see our trajectory, especially those who come from technical side, being able to see if they want to at some point go from truly just technical ladder to management and executive side, what that can look like. I represent that to them because I came from a highly technical side and came into more management and executive level. And being able to share those stories and being transparent and supportive is very helpful. I am not a micromanager. I tend to get involved when I sense there is some challenges that may come in. And I would ask the right questions, but I'll ask the team to go back and come back to me with their solutions rather than give them the solution and enable them, empower them to solve their problems, but also give them the big picture continuously. What is happening in the industry, what is happening with the company, and where they fit in, and how they can have more of an impact. I really want everyone's voice to be heard, and people feel like if they have good ideas, it's not their boss's boss's boss who shares it, that they can directly provide that input and get that credit.
Fantastic, Sigma. We have covered a lot of ground today. So what is the most important takeaway from our conversation?
I think the biotech industry is growing. The CDMOs are going to grow with it. And we have a lot of potential, a lot of new technologies coming in. We definitely want highly talented people to come and stay in this field and be the next generation leaders that can essentially change the face of new drug development and new molecules being brought to the market. So I think the main message here is a highly optimistic picture, despite whatever market downturn, etc., that has happened. Technology has been moving very fast, and the new molecules coming in are very exciting, very targeted solutions that are coming in. And that diversified portfolio requires a lot of technology solutions and a lot of support from CDMO and pharma side. I'd say everyone should be very excited for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We should be excited about the future. Thank you so much, Sigma, for sharing all these insights. Where can people connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is via LinkedIn, and I'm very active there. So I'd love to hear from the audience and connect with them and help and provide support in whichever way I can.
Great. I will leave the link down in the show note. Please do reach out to Sigma. And Sigma, it was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you so much, David. Highly appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
What a fantastic journey through the world of CDMOs with Sigma Mostafa. From operational insights to cultural transformation, we've covered it all. Remember, success in biotech isn't just about science. It's about strategy, partnerships, and organizational excellence. Speaking of strategy, if you're ready to take your CMC development to the next level, I've got just the thing for you. As your fractional CTO, I am organizing half-day strategy workshops where we will fine-tune your approach with laser-like precision. Intrigued? Just book a free call with me today. Don't let uncertainty hold you back. Let's craft a winning strategy so you can develop your bioprocess with peace of mind. All right, smart scientists. That's all for today on the Smart Biotech Scientist podcast. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on your journey to bioprocess mastery. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. By doing so, we can empower more scientists like you. For additional bioprocessing tips, visit us at smartbiotechscientist.com. Stay tuned for more inspiring biotech insights in our next episode. Until then, let's continue to smarten up biotech.